Hello and welcome back to Inside Quotes, the show where my brother and I rewatch, review, and relive the staples of our childhood. This is episode 117, and I'm your host, Jeremy, and with me today is my older brother, Jonathan. Jonathan, I don't know where you are. That's okay. I've got all the company I need right here. Hello!
Hello!
How are you?
How are you?
I asked you first.
I asked you first.
All right, that's really mature.
All right,
Saying
that's
exactly
really
what I
immature.
say.
Saying exactly what I say.
I'm an idiot.
You're an idiot.
All right, fine. I'm not talking to you anymore. In fact, I'm going to whisper so that by the time I hear my voice reverberates off the walls and gets back to me, I won't be able to hear it.
You're an idiot.
Yeah. Well, anyways, whatever. Jonathan, welcome back to the show. My echo.
Quack, quack, everybody. Handheld mic on this episode. What's going on?
Absolutely. Loving the cringe factor just right off the back for me and you. That's what we're here for.
It wasn't me. It was your echo.
That's true. But I learned my echo told me I'm an idiot. But yeah, if you haven't guessed by now, by clicking on the episode, we are covering the 2000 film, the year 2000, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
It's a long
Live
title.
action. I said that like Benedict Cumberbatch, which is not the right Grinch.
Dude, who's your top 3 Grinches?
Easily Jim Carrey.
Bonus points if you can even name the person that voices the Grinch in the cartoon from the 60s.
Easily Jim Carrey, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Dracula. Boris Gorlami.
I wouldn't even know. I have no idea who it was.
Yeah, it's Boris Gorloff.
Was it?
Yeah, and he narrated it as well. Fun fact about that, I knew that.
Bonus points. You got him.
Yep. But yeah, we've entered into the Dr. Seuss cinematic universe, the DSCU.
I noticed that as well. Yeah. I mean, other than this and The Cat in the Hat, are there other live action Dr. Seuss movies?
I don't think so. And
The rest are
what
like,
I was going to get into in a little bit.
Okay.
I was going to ask you about that a little later.
Well,
yeah, there's a couple animated ones, which it seems like it's sort of reversed. What Disney's doing is that they made a couple live action ones, and now they're making all the, I guess not now, but they're making animated versions of them. So, but yeah, How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey. Let me just start out by saying, Jonathan, is this a staple for us?
No.
I mean, I would say it's a staple for us. Maybe me, but definitely not for our family. Because our mom was the biggest Christmas fan we've ever met. And we spent hours and hours and days decorating our house for Christmas. She hated this movie because she doesn't like Jim Carrey. Crazy. Could not disagree more. But she loved Christmas. And she didn't watch this movie. Well, she didn't like watching this movie.
No. She had the movie because she was an obsessive Christmas collector. You have to have it in the collection, even if you're not going to watch it.
She was also the type that wouldn't not finish a book because she didn't like it. So, and not because of that, she would finish the whole series because it could turn around. She did that with Twilight. She didn't like Twilight. So what she did was finish Twilight and then read the rest of the series all the way through. She's like, this is the worst. Anyways, we've got her favorite quote up here on the marquee.
Right. This was her inside quote.
This is the quote that we think of, which isn't the best quote that most people like would normally say about this movie, but yeah, "Wrongo" is a classic for us. So
anytime, like we would try and convince her to do something that we wanted to do that she didn't want us to do. It's like, "Wrongo. No. You're not getting a cat.
Come on, Captain Crunch is good for you. It's got all the daily vitamins and minerals we need. Wrongo." I said that like Donald Trump. Wrongo. I'd like to see if the Grinch was orange instead of green. Possibly could be the best Grinch I've ever seen. Enough politics. We're done.
Sorry about that.
It's Christmas time. We're here to enjoy.
You know what, Jeremy? It is Christmas time. And you know what time it is. It's time to spin the wheel of... Just kidding. It's time to unbox my Christmas Yoda bobblehead every year. I don't have many Christmas decorations, but I've had this for years. This was a Christmas gift from Mom.
Yeah.
And I like to open it up every year and put it on my desk.
It's a beauty. I unfortunately got the same one, but I accidentally twisted the head, and it wasn't good, so I had to get rid of it. The spring got all jacked up, but I'm glad you have yours.
And that's how you got on the naughty list.
Yep. But no, yeah, I figured we'd start off our Christmas season with a bang, because last year I was a little busy, and we really didn't do any Christmas movies.
We've really slacked off. I think our entire history of the podcast is us planning to do a lot of Christmas movies and not getting around to it.
Yeah.
But
hopefully this year can be different.
We're trying.
We're gonna at least get one out there. Maybe 5, maybe 7. Most likely 2 or 3.
Definitely not.
Maybe 4.
Maybe. We'll see.
All right. Well, Christmas time is here. We're glad that we've started out with a bang. And this is a banger for a lot of people. This is a huge staple for a lot of my friends. And it's not for us because, well, it is. I love this movie so much. It's a little creepy for me. It's basically a fever dream, but Christmassy. But so's like A Christmas Story. Another movie Mom didn't like.
Yeah.
2 classics that
I don't think she liked angry male figures in Christmas movies. I think I think that just kind of ruins it for her. She never liked the dad in A Christmas Story.
She doesn't like Christmas haters. She doesn't like the haters on Christmas.
I mean, that's true. That's true. You know, she probably wasn't even like a big like Christmas Carol fan either. Just like Scrooge and stuff like that. I don't really remember her watching that.
Yeah, that was more us.
But I do like me a Christmas Carol. And Muppet
I do
Christmas
like me
Carol.
a Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yes.
Also, Jim Carrey did A Christmas Carol, so we'll take that too.
I bet they were like, oh, he did the Grinch. Yeah, he can do this.
And he did.
It's like the same character.
Great Polar Express style animation that people hate, but it's really good.
I don't think I've seen the Christmas Carol, the animated one.
Really? That was a FCA field trip for us.
I think that was after I left.
Yeah. Good times.
I have an FCA memory, though, for this movie, though. I remember one year we were having like a Christmas party. It was kind of like one of those like last day or two of the year before Christmas break. And like there's no point in the teacher trying to teach us anything because it's pointless at that point, you know? So you have kind of like an end of the year party or whatever. And I remember one of the days we were allowed to like bring in a movie from home to watch at the Christmas party. And so a bunch of people brought in like VHS tapes, and then like I guess we voted on like what we wanted to watch, and the one that like won by a landslide was someone brought The Grinch, and everyone wanted to watch The Grinch.
Yeah.
But there was one kid whose parents had forbidden them from seeing this movie.
Oh.
And they said they you know, they were honest. They just said, "Oh, my parents won't let me watch that movie." And so it got taken off the list and we had to vote on something else. And I felt so
Jonathan,
bad for that kid.
was that kid you?
It was not me. It was not me.
Okay.
However, yeah, I felt so bad too because it was like, oh man, you
could have just shut up and watched it.
I was like, this very easily could have been me, but at least I'm smart enough not to say anything, you know.
But the kid was also like, and while we're at it,
yeah,
you never collected our homework.
Yeah.
Weren't we having a pop quiz?
Yeah, that student was. I'll bleep out their name. Roy Fulmer.
Oh, classic.
Yeah. So instead, we watched The Little Rascals.
Why do you have to bleep his name out? This is 20 years ago.
I just don't want to dox him like that, you know?
It doesn't matter. Even if he hears it, it'd be like, oh, that's funny. Maybe. I remember that.
Maybe.
Anyways.
That could have been his Grinch moment, though, you know? Like, he could have... this moment could have, like, set him on a path, you know? I don't want to talk about it anymore.
All right.
But yeah, we watched The Little Rascals. And honestly, for me, I was like, that's the better movie. Like, I would prefer to watch Little Rascals.
Yeah.
It's not very Christmassy. But like all the kids in the class were like, Little Rascals, that's worse than The Grinch. What are you talking about? That has all kinds of cuss words. It didn't. But
it has a lot of euphemisms.
Yeah, sissified Tweety Bird. Yeah. I did feel bad for that kid though. But I remember that because that was one of those moments where it's like the whole class was in agreement. Oh yeah, we're gonna watch The Grinch. We can't wait. This is gonna be exciting. And then one kid just raised his hand. It's like good on him. Good on him.
12 Angry Men, but in a different way.
12 angry third graders.
Little Rascals isn't a Christmas movie. It was just any movie.
Yeah, it was just any movie, I guess. I don't know.
That's weird. Okay. I'm surprised a Christmas movie wasn't watched at that point.
Yeah, I mean,
I
think
Christmas
that was
movies are family friendly.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I feel like this one was kind of questionable with some things. And I remember at the time, if you grew up in like a, sheltered household, like you didn't grow up watching Jim Carrey movies. So I think automatically parents were skeptical. Like, what is this Jim Carrey doing in my kid's movie, Yeah. But anyways, that's what happened.
I mean, that is what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there were things that were a little off-putting for people, especially back then. But it's so funny. I can't get over it. It's not a 5 out of 5 for me. But we're saving those ratings for later. Change my mind, maybe. I don't know.
It won't be me.
But I have a memory. I remember one girl in my class at the talent show. I'll redact her name. You can bleep her name out since we're bleeping classmates' names. Victoria Prenat.
Put a picture here of my FCA yearbook.
She dressed up as Cindy Lou Who and sang "Where Are You Christmas" one time, and it was
it good?
Fine. No, if you're listening, it was great.
Look, I didn't know that that song was from this movie
too. Yeah, really?
I didn't. No, I haven't seen this that many times to know that what this.
I feel like this is a big like Paul Smith influenced movie for you, and I've seen it less than you, but that's wrong. I've seen it more than you.
You've probably seen this movie more than me, for sure.
Wow. This is a staple for me.
The Smiths did love this movie. Yeah, I didn't know. Like, they started singing that, and I was like, is that from this movie? Like, I feel like I've heard just like the I think it's Faith Hill or something, like the pop version.
Yeah.
They play a lot at Christmas time.
I thought it was Celine Dion, but yeah, that makes sense. Christmas happening there. Yeah. Sorry.
You know, it's a good. I mean, we might as well talk music real quick. You know, it's a good kids movie when there's a Smash Mouth song in there.
Very faintly in the background.
Very faintly in the background of a party scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to some. Oh, and there's an Eels song on there. That's another movie band.
It sounds like there were a lot of different. I couldn't tell who it was. If it was the Eels, if it was Cake, or if it was
kind of similar.
Over the Hedge, Ben Folds.
Well, Ben Folds is on this soundtrack as well.
Okay.
The Eels song is that like Christmas is going to the dogs or something like that. The Grinch comes back and like Max the dog is like dancing around or something, listening to records, and like that song is playing. It has kind of funny lyrics to it.
Yeah, I couldn't really make out a lot of the words because the camera was just moving back and forth all the time. And just like,
all right, can we get into this? Can we get into this?
You don't like this movie, and you're breaking my heart right now.
I'm gonna tell you, Jeremy. I low key do not like this movie.
Oh man. Okay.
And I've always known when we get to this episode that I'm gonna break a lot of hearts.
I truly thought you were gonna like it.
I swing back and forth, like, oh, this is so funny. I'm laughing at some of the lines, some of the scenes, to like, oh, this movie makes me feel like claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Like all the scenes are. I just have this uneasy feeling watching most of this movie because all the shots of the camera are like super close up on characters.
Yeah.
Tilted. Like everything is a Dutch angle.
Yeah.
And there's like so much good like production design, and it's like you can't hardly see it because the camera is like way too distracting for me.
Yeah.
It makes me feel uneasy for a lot of the movie. The Who's, the people, they creep me out.
They do. I'm with you there. I'm very with you there. The whole Whoville area, creepy.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the angles, the in your face. It's a monster movie, so it's gonna be a little creepy, a little scary. All the like weird smudgy lights.
Yeah, it's all like washed out, and like you can tell there's a lot of like good colors in like the sets and stuff, but like maybe it's the snow that they have. It's like everything is kind of diminished looking and kind of gray and eerie. I don't like the look of the movie in that regard.
I kind of do a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I also thought the CGI was pretty cool.
Yeah, effects wise, I don't.
But
really
most
have
of it
complaints.
was practical, which is great. But.
Yeah, I know it looked like real sets and stuff. I mean, obviously the Grinch like costume. The movie itself like won an Oscar for like best like hair and makeup and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then there's like a lot of good funny moments in the movie, and I'm like genuinely laughing like out loud watching them, even just on my own. But I will say I'm hit or miss on the Grinch performance too, because I get this vibe of like, I know. Like Adam Sandler movies are pretty hit or miss, right? I was
gonna say he does an Adam Sandler impression here.
I'm gonna say like I don't like the Adam Sandler movies as much, where he's just like an angry yelling character all the time, and that's the joke.
Yeah.
Now, these are my complaints, and I fully understand that like that's kind of the point of the movie. Like I can't complain too much. Like he's a bitter, angry guy, but just like there's a scene when like Cindy Lou Who first comes up to his cave, and he's just trying to get her to go away, and he's just like growling and like doing all kinds of weird stuff. Puts on the shirt, is tearing it out, and making all these guttural sounds. I'm like, I was just waiting for that scene to end because it was like, this is too much.
Yeah,
this is too much.
it's very ADHD.
Yeah.
But also not as much as Moana 2. Anyways.
But there's some great scenes. Like one of the moments I've always heard
was
supposed
to scare you though. Like the shadows, like it's supposed to be funny and scare you at the same time.
Yeah.
Make you uneasy because that's not Santa Claus. That's the Grinch.
Mm-hmm.
What were you saying?
No, I'll let you keep going. I'm hating a lot, but it's gonna come out.
It's a different world. And it's not... Santa Claus doesn't really exist in this movie, does it? Like, the idea of him, but like...
Yeah.
Santa Claus, the magical being, real magical being, which if you're listening, he's real. Don't worry. We're not saying that. We're just saying that they don't think that. And it's very, like, Whoville is very capitalistic at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And all they care about is the gifts. And, like, everybody learns a lesson here. It's not just the Grinch.
Mm-hmm. And that, I feel like that's a difference between some of the other takes. Because, like, the Who people in this movie, they aren't very likable.
No, they're not. Yeah.
Like, they don't, like, seem like good people. Like, other than
the
Cindy
book,
Lou Who.
And in the original, whatever, 1950s, 60s version, they were just, like, happy-go-lucky people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
like,
Cindy
not
Lou
perfect.
Who didn't have a character. It was, like, 25-minute special. Like,
yeah.
Cindy Lou Who was a 2-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
It says, like, 2 lines, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, pretty good character development. And I like how it was Ron Howard directing, and he had Jeffrey Tambor from Arrested Development playing the mayor. Solid.
And there's a funny scene too when the Grinch is like, he goes into like directing Cindy Lou Who, like how to act in a scene. It's kind of like a meta scene. And he's kind of doing like a Ron Howard impression. He's got like his
the hat.
signature hat on, and
looked like a veteran's hat.
Yeah,
and it said like Whoville Royal Navy or something. It was really funny.
There's this scene like I've heard was kind of a mistake, but they left it in when whenever he like pulls the tablecloth, like all the stuff on top of the table was supposed to like fall off, but like it actually stayed in place, and like
I
that
thought
wasn't
that was one
intended.
of the funniest things.
Yeah,
that was not.
That's
that
what
was
I'm
improv?
saying. That was improv. Like
that makes it even better.
It wasn't supposed to, and then it stayed in place. So he just goes over there and like just shoves it off the table and everything. Like that. That was good.
Table.
That was good.
That was one of the best like cave layer moments for me. I think the set design for that is so good. It's like Little Monsters inspired, like Beetlejuice inspired a little bit.
Yeah.
I loved it.
One thing to note, I was trying to pay attention to the camera because of like how we were talking about. There's a lot of like tilted angles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I noticed like it seemed like they were using like level shots with Cindy Lou Who, but like other characters were like tilted, right? It wasn't consistent throughout the whole movie, but I was kind of watching for that. I was kind of hoping like, oh, maybe by the end, everyone is like come around to the Grinch and the camera's just going to stay level.
And we're all more stable after all.
But it really wasn't consistent. But I thought that maybe that was something that was kind of an idea, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's just my interpretation.
We'll go with it just because we need you to like this movie a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. I really appreciated the artistic links they went to make this this movie.
I don't think I was prepared to like defend this movie to you. Like I was gonna be like, yeah, it's great. We can talk about all the great things about it. Man,
we can still talk about great things about it.
No, we can't.
I was simultaneously.
We don't need you anymore.
I was simultaneously grossed out by the kid Grinch, and also like finding that sequence was like one of my favorite parts.
I love the kid Grinch.
That was funny. That was one of my favorite parts of the movie rewatching. But I was like, oh man, this kid. Man.
I have a theory about that scene. This can be easily proven just by an IMDb search, but I feel like the kid who played the Tiny Grinch is just Cindy Lou Who in that makeup.
It's someone else. I know that for sure because I clicked on him on Letterboxd, but he has like no other credits, so I don't know what.
Because he doesn't need them. He's already peaked.
Yep.
No, I loved that. That was so fun. Giving him like a love interest. Oh, that's great. Good old Martha.
Yeah.
The Whovillians. They're freaky. They're very freaky. And they're not necessarily great people like they were in the book. But I liked a lot of the characters nonetheless. But Cindy Lou Who, the best. I like the post office scene where he wraps her up. And like, you can tell at the beginning that he like feels a little bit of guilt. Sort of like a foreshadowing at the end where he's like, oh, she might die if I don't save her right now. She's going to get smushed.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then he like pulls her out and then he's like, that sort of proves to her that he has a heart and he can like save people and like do good. And she called him out on that and he was like, well, I actually haven't finished wrapping you yet. And, wraps him up. I thought that was cool. But this movie is very gross. I'll give it to you. It's gross, but it's supposed to be. But even like the Whovillians are like sweaty, shiny, foggy people, and like it's just like they're weird, very uncanny. This whole movie, but especially like the eggnog hats at the Jubilee.
Oh, I was going to mention that. That's stressing me out. I feel like they're going to having just an open container of eggnog on their head. I loved
it. That might be prop of the month or prop of the week for me.
Oh, that's a good one.
Possibly. That's a good one. The eggnog hat with the bowl. I guess they just made it double walled and they put it like on the inside. Like you see those mugs that have like glitter on the inside.
And you would know all about balancing beverages on your head.
I would.
Yeah. In a famous production, an award-winning production. I don't know about that, but
not our production, but the production that we were productioning. Yes.
Yes.
I was a bottle dancer in Fiddler on the Roof in a community theater 2 years ago. And I balanced a bottle on my head without any magnets.
So whenever they do Grinchmas, you'll be ready for eggnog.
It's some Broadway level stuff, you know what I'm saying? Ariana, cast me. All right. This movie, whether you like it or not, Jonathan, is full of quotes. Full of quotes.
Such as...
So even though you hate, really hate, loathe entirely this movie, you're completely wrong. And I feel like I'm getting a lot of brownie points with our listeners.
It's fine.
So
it's fine.
I'm very happy with that. That's rich. I really love Jim Carrey, and he makes me laugh at all the time. Like just how stretchy his face is in general, animated his face is.
Yeah.
I feel like, I guess I'm bragging on myself a little bit. I was never called a Jim Carrey, but Dad would always say like, you really use your face muscles a lot. You're like Jerry Lewis.
Okay.
And I guess I was very animated as a kid with my face. So that's what I can remember. But so many quotes, and people know these by heart. They're their inside quotes. Like this is one of the most quotable Christmas movies of all time.
For sure.
For a lot of people.
I mean, and a lot of people had this. I was reading, like when this came out, it was one of like the top 4 like best-selling home video releases of all time, like ahead of like Titanic. It was up there with like Shrek. What was the other one?
Country Bears.
Country Bears, yes. That was another one on that list, but
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone loves this movie.
And I do too. It's been a while since me and you have deferred on a movie.
Yeah.
It feels good. All right. Jury duty. Blackmail, pink slip, chain litter, eviction notice, jury duty.
I will say the intro that we did at the start, that was one of the scenes I've always remembered.
That's a good one.
That's a classic one. I like a lot of the scenes where the Grinch is just kind of like talking to himself or to Max, about like what he's going to do or what he
Yeah.
The scene when he's going through the schedule and he's like, well, wallow in self-pity, can't cancel on me again,
5:30, jazz. 6:30, can't cancel with myself again. I can't cancel that again. Oh man, I love it. But what will I wear?
That's it. I'm not going. Yeah, and just to speak to the quotes, like there's a lot of like GIFs from this movie that people use.
There's a lot,
GIFs and very memeable.
Yeah.
It's also sparked like a ton of Halloween costumes, I feel like, where people dress up like Cindy Lou Who and put a bottle in their hair and then do it all up.
Or just the Grinch, just buy a full suit. I've seen people do that.
That's true.
Yeah. Going back to that's it. I'm not going. Whenever he steals the what are those called? Lederhosen from the yodeling guy.
Yeah.
He was like, I just thought that was really funny, first of all, but I couldn't stop thinking about it because he took that dude's clothes and left him out in the snow. So he's just hiking around that mountain somewhere naked. Mm-hmm. And then all for that to just be like, okay, I'm not going. But he ends up going. So at least he does the Lederhosen justice. But holiday hootie whatty. The audacity, the unmitigated gall. He really did channel Adam Sandler in some of these.
I was reading about like the production of the movie. I guess Dr. Seuss died in the early 90s, but before that he didn't really want to sell off his like movie rights and stuff like that. But in the years after, in the 90s, I think his wife or whoever was in charge of his estate, decided to sell it, the movie rights and whatnot. And one of the conditions was like, if you're gonna do it, like it's got to be a big movie. Like you need writers that have like made more than X amount of dollars, on the like selling screenplays. Like you need someone, you need big stars in it. Someone, and it even said like someone of Adam Sandler level or I can't remember the other person. Like that was Jim kind Carrey? Of like it may have been Jim Carrey. I feel like it was someone else.
Also do Horton Hears a Who as Horton?
I don't remember.
I remember Steve Carell played the Who guy in that one, but I'm pretty sure Jim Carrey played.
I don't think I've seen Horton Hears a Who all the way through.
I saw that in theaters. I've seen all of these except for. No, I've seen the Lorax too. The Lorax is great.
I haven't seen that. I've just seen The Grinch and Cat in the Hat. Oh. Hop on Pop and dinosaur books. You know what I'm saying?
That does bring me to a question. We have some classic cartoons and some new animated movies, but like there's only this and Cat in the Hat that are the live action ones. Is there a Dr. Seuss book that you would love to see live action or just made into a movie in general? It can be as short as possible because these are all short books.
Well,
they have to like add on to it.
When they sold the rights to The Grinch, they also sold the rights to Oh, the Places You'll Go. But right. I don't think they ever really did anything with that as far as theatrical films. I know a lot of these have the animated.
No. They made Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Yeah. Secret Life of Walter Mitty? Is that what it's called?
No, The Walter Life of Secret Mitty.
Secret Life of Pets. Anyways.
I remember having a tape of the Sneetches. Remember that was one? The star-bellied
Goated.
Sneetches.
So goated. I feel like you can do a really dark, deep film based on that story. I could see that happening. But you really need you need some star power to take over. Like Cat in the Hat, that's the cat. The Grinch, that's the Grinch. Like you need one big character with a big name to take over. It can't just be like the Footbook or the Oobleck. Ooh, the Oobleck could be a good one actually.
Ooh, I remember the Oobleck. We made the slime in class.
Every little kid made slime. You know.
Ooh, memory unlocked. We had a whole Dr. Seuss day at FCA.
Yes, we did.
We would do that like every year.
Dude, I had a Cat in the Hat spring hat.
Yeah,
that had lights on it and everything, and it was just like, boing, boing, boing. Anyways, we'll cover Cat in the Hat in its time.
That just seems like a weird thing. Did other schools do that? Have like a Dr. Seuss day?
I think so.
I felt like it seemed like it was
maybe
like
not
national,
now because he got
like
canceled for being racist, but I mean, with our mom being it's real. Our mom was the librarian.
Okay.
Sunday, March 2nd, 2025. So get ready. We might have to do Cat in the Hat.
Mark your calendars for Cat in the Hat.
Yeah. I mean, he did corner like a solid 5 to 7% of the children's book market. So he did a lot for it. Makes sense.
I just didn't know if that was like an FCA thing that we did.
Oh. I'm looking at all these new books and stuff, and I'm just like, oh man, I haven't read these in years.
Yeah, I forgot about some of these.
But 10 Apples Up on Top. You remember that one? What a good one. I forgot.
500 Hats of Bartholomew Cubbins.
Oh.
Well, that's a book.
So Bartholomew and the Oobleck, so that's a recurring character.
I guess so.
Unless there's just two Bartholomew's.
One fish, two fish, red fish, real big fish.
Thidwick, the big-hearted moose.
The thing is, I remember I'm seeing the author's name here. There was like this other author that made Dr. Seuss type books, and like you'd get them confused
because it would have like for him.
It would have like the Cat in the Hat logo on it, like it was the same company, but it wasn't Dr. Seuss. It's this guy P.D. Eastman.
Yes,
and he made stuff like "Are You My Mother?" "Go Dog
Go." Go Dog Go. Whoa, Go Dog
Sam
Go is
a Firefly. The Best Nest. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Okay, so I guess they changed it. March 2nd, is the birthday of Dr. Seuss. I think they may have changed it because apparently he got canceled after he's been dead for decades. Because he said one racist thing or something. I'm not sure. I haven't read into it, but I remember that him getting canceled like 5 years ago. But they call it National Read Across America Day.
Okay.
So,
all right.
But yeah, some solid. I feel like Go Dog Go would be a really good movie.
It's a good pod racer movie or something.
Yeah. Fox in Socks. Oh, the Places You Go has probably the most potential for a movie, I would say.
I feel like there's something there like really artsy someone could do.
Everybody loves
it's like movie. A new A24 movie or something. Oh, the Places You'll Go.
With Timothée Chalamet. Yeah. Anyways.
I was trying to figure out, I'm looking through like the screen grabs from the movie on IMDb of the Grinch. Mm-hmm. The girl that plays like the young Martha that the Grinch has the crush on, she looked really familiar for to me, but
I also think that, but I don't know what else she's been in.
It says she was on an episode of Seventh Heaven, so maybe that was it. It always comes back to one of those old shows. I don't know.
Maybe.
Because I'm not really recognizing anything else. But as far as like the rest of the cast goes, yeah, Jeffrey Tambor as the mayor.
Ron Howard's brother.
Yep, Clint Howard. Del
Clint.
Paxton, the high school band.
That's wild.
That's wild. Molly Shannon is the mom, and she doesn't really have much of a part though.
She's hard to recognize too.
Yeah, I kind of wish. I don't. I really like her. I think she's pretty funny. I feel like they could have done more with her character. She just seems like a busy
sort of
mom.
Annoyed by her.
Really?
Yeah, I've not really been a huge
because of her scene in Santa Claus 2.
Yeah. Yep.
We'll get there.
Maybe this year.
Oh man, this kid Grinch is creeping me out.
Okay. He's kind of cute though.
Okay. The makeup, the practical effects and the makeup is really good. Like
it is. I heard two stories, but maybe Jim Carrey was embellishing it for the Graham Norton show. But there's a clip of him saying that he had to ask advice from a CIA operative agent on how to go through torture, how to handle torture, because he was in that chair for 8 hours a day, and he did that. He worked for around 100 days.
Wow.
It's like the longest anybody's ever had to endure for a makeup. I think that it's closer to like a couple hours and 92 days, but hey, embellish kind of works.
No, I mean, I believe it. Like those, I mean, that's like full body makeup.
Yeah.
It's not just the suit and yeah.
Like the fuzzy fingers and like just being still as me. I couldn't be still for 8 hours like that, let alone Jim Carrey, the spazziest actor of them all.
We haven't really talked too much about Ron Howard. Pretty big name director.
Who is Ron Howard?
Opie himself from the Andy Griffith Show. Richie Cunningham from Happy Days.
Mm-hmm. The narrator from Arrested Development.
Yeah, most importantly, I'd say.
Well, I don't know more importantly than Opie. It wasn't.
It wasn't. Director of a movie that truly was a staple of our childhood, Apollo 13.
Absolutely. And you're forgetting one.
And The Grinch.
For me.
For you. I feel like he's a director that he's very highly regarded. Everybody likes him. He's a very like easy to work with and everything. Yeah. I feel like when you look at his discography, he's kind of a mixed bag though. Like some of his stuff is good, some of it's, but like I'm pretty sure he won an Oscar for A Beautiful Mind. I feel like that was one of his big movies. Apollo 13.
He directed that Jim Henson documentary.
Recently, yeah, he did that.
And I'm in the middle of that. It's really good. Hillbilly Elegy, that J.D. Vance movie. About the, I actually watched that. I don't know if I said that in our back burners or not, but
you mentioned it.
He did Solo, a Star Wars story.
Yeah, he took over after the directors got fired off of that.
Yeah. Interesting.
He made the Da Vinci Code movies. I think those are kind of a mixed bag.
He made Willow?
Yeah, so yeah, that was like a Lucasfilm production.
Yeah. And he Ron Howard, American Graffiti. That's how I knew. Okay, it makes sense.
They had the connection with George Lucas, and so he was kind of like a mentor to him. George Lucas produced Willow, and that was like his first movie, I think, that he directed on his own, or one of the early ones.
Yeah.
Ron Howard, though, pretty good director. He's definitely has some really good films up there, and I mean, it's a choice, right? I'm complaining about the tilted angles, but like it does give it a certain look. I don't think that's like a trademark of his in movies, really. I think
No.
it's just it was an artistic choice. It's not my favorite. It really
If
does
anything, he made
make
it
me feel weird.
sort of paid homage to some of the older monster movies.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like Dracula, the
Mm-hmm.
Boris Karloff, who originally voiced the Grinch. Maybe that was on purpose.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Did you want to talk about some of the other Grinch adaptations?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've always you can't really say much about the original Grinch. It's a 25-minute TV special. Maybe I feel like I would like to cover all the like Christmassy TV specials one year, maybe next year or this year. I don't know.
Okay.
All in one like Charlie Brown Christmas, or we can do Charlie Brown all in one episode by itself. Or
what about like Frosty,
Rudolph, Snowden. Yeah, a lot of the like Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yeah, we can do that. Christmas specials.
Yeah, Christmas specials could be good. So yeah. Where
There's
was I
not a
going
whole
with
lot.
this?
Well, you were just saying there's not a whole lot to say about the original. I feel like the best part of it is just the song that comes out of it.
Yeah.
And like I feel like I've watched The Grinch a ton because I've watched Home Alone and there's a scene of it in that movie. But,
Yeah.
but I haven't really watched it a whole ton. I watched it before recording tonight, but I kind of just half paid attention to it. It was fine.
Yeah.
It's good to have on in the background when it's Christmas time and you're
It's a good
decorating the
wrapping
tree
presents movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Special TV special. And then we watched The Grinch 2018 with Benedict Cumberbatch, and it was actually the first time I watched it. You watched it before, and you said you really liked it, and you were very surprised with it.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about that.
Well,
what are your thoughts?
It was just a good experience, I guess, because we went. It was maybe after you had moved to Kentucky, but like the family, we all went to go see it when it came out in theaters. I just went with the family. I didn't really care about it. But I felt like it caught me by surprise because I'm so mixed on this one. At the time, I was like, I think I like this better than the Jim Carrey Grinch, and people are gonna like come after me for that. But I think it's just because it's like more pleasant to watch. Like, like I find the movie aesthetically pleasing. Like the animation in it, like the town is very Christmassy. I like the characters; they're fun. The Whoville people are nice. Like I especially like Kenan Thompson's character in that movie.
Yeah.
Rewatching it, I didn't love like Benedict Cumberbatch doing the voice of it as much. I thought it was kind of weird.
Out of left field choice.
It was kind of weird, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a mixed bag as well, but I still feel like it doesn't make me feel uneasy like this one does.
Oh, dude.
But what is did you not like it at all?
I hated it. I hated it. I don't like Illumination's animation style. Like the way that you said that you like the style of the way the animation moves and like the set and the people design. I hate that. Worst part about it. I did like the Kenan Thompson character. Really good. Really funny. I didn't want to watch Christmas Despicable Me. I didn't want to watch Christmas Minions. I hate the way they move and how the characters are designed.
Interesting.
That's all. I did like how like they
I like how
took it as he was a member of society already. He wasn't just an outcast. He would go into town a lot and like he was just misunderstood, and he was a different type of character, not a monster, just not really accepted. Hermit.
I think what I liked, it's not so much, yes, the characters do kind of have that same Illumination style and kind of look. It's the town. Like the town just looks cozy in that movie. I don't know. The gingerbread houses and stuff. I don't know. It just looks like a
Target ad to me.
Well,
I'm not a fan of it. The town minus the people looked cozy in Jim Carrey version.
I guess I could just see it, and it wasn't all like zoomed in and have this like grayed out filter on it.
Yeah. It was. Okay, yeah.
Was it high cinema? No, absolutely not. But it surprised me. I liked it when I watched it.
I really didn't like it, and I thought I would, but that's okay. That's okay. Would you rather live in Whoville, or would you rather live in the North Pole from Santa Claus?
North Pole.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
The Whoville stresses me out because it's like inside of a snowflake in the middle of a snowstorm. Like that's,
but
that doesn't seem very long lasting to me.
Yeah. Do you understand how big our universe is, Jonathan?
Yeah. I'm at the center of it.
Speck. A lot of the Dr. Seuss lore is about how all these worlds are on a tiny miniature speck within our world. Like,
I kind of do remember.
Like
that's like a
Horton Hears a Who is on like a speck. Like they called it the speck. It was like on a dandelion, like piece of pollen. It's cool. It's fine. It's just an interesting way of viewing the world. Just like, what if there's a world within our world that we know? Because our world is huge. What if we're the big part of the universe? I don't know. Yeah. But that makes you nervous because you're not a drifting snowflake in the wind, are you?
Not today. Maybe tomorrow.
Okay. I did find a couple Christmas would you rathers.
Okay.
I'm going to sprinkle a couple of these in with every Christmas episode. But would you rather have to untangle a mile of Christmas lights or wrap presents for 12 hours?
Christmas
this is a
lights
truly tough
all
one.
day.
I'm wrapping for 12 hours. Do you understand how long that's going to take you? It could take you years.
Okay.
Because once you untangle something, you have to go all the way to the other end. You'll run a marathon in like 26 untangles.
What is this like some like strand of lights that goes all the way around the world or something? Or is it just you're just untangling lights for 12 hours? Oh,
no.
I thought you just said for like 12 hours.
No, that's wrapping presents for 12 hours.
Oh, okay.
Untangling a mile of Christmas lights or wrapping presents for 12 hours. I'm going presents. Even if it was untangled for 12 hours, untangling lights is very frustrating for me, at least.
It can be. I don't like wrapping presents. I'm not very good at it, so
I don't like it either, but I get better with every present I do. It's like the pancake theory. Like the first one's always bad.
No, I give up the more I do. It's like I just got to cover it up somehow. No, I would much rather sit on the couch and untangle lights for however long and just throw on a movie. I'd rather do that.
You can't do that. You can
I can. Wrong-o. This is my fantasy.
You can just do that for 12 hours. All right, that's why would you rathers are kind of lame. All right, moving on.
I thought it was a good question.
What's the Muppet of the Week? Thanks for it was a good question, but it's time for the Muppet of the Week.
Well, I've got my trusty Muppet encyclopedia here. I know you mentioned to me maybe off the air that you wanted to pair these with like specifically Muppets from A Muppet Christmas Carol, but it's kind of hard to do based on the selection in this book.
Okay.
So, I did not go that route, but I went for a Muppet that felt to me that was kind of in the spirit of the Grinch character.
Okay.
Kind of a stick in the mud, kind of a curmudgeon. I'm going with Sam the Eagle.
All right. I'll take it. He's not green, but
kind of a different way, but just like, I don't know, he's just a party pooper. Sam is the Muppets' self-appointed censor, moral compass, and all-around party pooper. If there are any hijinks going on, Sam will take it upon himself to shut them down. Like if there's Christmas going on, shut it down. He is rarely successful. I don't think the Grinch is very successful. Sam the Eagle has been with the Muppets since the Muppet Show pilot. He likes all things American, dislikes American flags that are made in other countries.
Oh my. So fascinating.
That's funny.
When was this book made?
After Muppets Most Wanted, I think, because it's got the Russian Kermit in here.
Gotcha.
He's got a quote in here. It says, "You are all weirdos." Anyway,
we love Sam the Eagle.
That's
I figured
Sam
you'd
the
save
Eagle
him for like a patriotic film.
Yeah, I guess so. Too late
okay.
now. Everyone skips past the Muppet segment anyway.
Yeah.
You wanted to cover the prop of the movie? Let's just knock these out.
Yeah. What's the prop of the week?
Well, I had a couple that I wrote down. I feel like you had a good one that you mentioned earlier. What was it? That eggnog?
Yeah, the eggnog hat.
Hat, yeah.
But I have others.
Okay. I really liked the Christmas light gun, like machine gun.
Yes.
That
that's
Martha
a good
had.
one. That's a really good one.
Putting up Christmas lights would be a cinch if you had that. I would love that. Just like
yeah.
What did you have?
So I had, well, this isn't really just because you can't tell it's the Grinch from this one thing, but I love a Christmas movie whenever Santa has a big old bag of presents and like overstuffed and like it's like impossibly large. Second would be the eggnog helmet.
Okay.
But I'm going with my nomination is officially the singular antler that goes on Max's head. You could tell it's the Grinch from the singular antler.
Yeah. That would be, I was struggling to find an iconic one, and I think that would be the most iconic one.
Yeah.
The other one I had, which is kind of like an important prop of the movie, what is like the hair trimmer that like he has, that he cuts himself as a kid, and then the mayor like awards it to him again years later. It kind of sparks a fight.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, that one's not very like, you don't necessarily like pair that with this movie though.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the production design though, like the look of the cars, the look, like the fonts on the buildings and everything, like is very iconic.
It's good.
If you go to like Seuss Landing at Universal, like they're definitely using a lot of the same production look, for building that land as they are from this movie. So it has really good design.
Yeah. Just admit it. It's a good movie.
I'm still kind of mixed on it.
Okay. All right. Now it's time for Cinematic Eats.
The eggnog hat.
Eggnog?
Just kidding. I was having a hard time coming up with this one, other than just like the I don't know, I can't remember what they call it.
Who pudding and roast beast.
Roast beast, yeah. I don't know what who hash is.
Who hash is like,
I don't know what that is. Hashish?
No. No, it's like corned beef hash in a can.
Okay.
I'm choosing glass bottles. I wanted to eat the glass bottle. It's not real food, but
when he crumples up the glass and eats it.
Yeah, he's like,
yeah.
Just a good year.
Yeah, that's like forbidden eats.
Forbidden eats. That's a whole nother segment right there. It was one of them sugar bottles like they had in them westerns. Yeah. But no, the eggnog didn't look like I wanted. Eggnog looked warm and sweaty, I didn't want that. Mm-hmm. I love eggnog though. That's very controversial Christmas take.
Another forbidden eat would be like he's going through the garbage and he just like eats a rotten banana peel.
Yeah, the black banana peel.
That was gross.
Yeah.
I'm looking through the quotes and it's like, I did like this line where it's just like, am I just eating because I'm bored?
Yeah. Ooh, one of my favorite details about his Grinch lair or whatever it's called, his home inside the mountain, inside Mount. What's it called? Doesn't matter. The scene where he's like sleeping, tossing and turning and dreaming, but like he's in his bed and like everything in the set like is his like man-made items, but his bed is like so unstable and like springy and like not comfortable at all. Like that's on purpose. I think that's cool. It just seems like very
it's just
metallic. Chaotic, yeah. He can't even like rest. But the best part about that is that I noticed his blanket in his bed was made out of like fiberglass insulation. Like he ripped it from someone's house. So of course he would love just the itchiness of fiberglass all over his body at night. That's my favorite detail of the movie.
Yeah, there's like the scene where he just like gets mad and he just throws like a bunch of metal shards into like a blender.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh man, it's just like, yeah, just chaotic.
Yeah. Very grating. This movie's grating.
Yeah.
And it's great though.
Great.
It's great and it grates. Yeah.
Hey, look, it's your old biddies. You two are still alive?
They're still alive. There is one Christmas tradition that I do find meaningful. Mistletoe. Now pucker up and kiss it, Whoville. Most of his acting comes from his little hand movements with the furry fingers. Oh man. When he's singing the song, the iconic "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch," wow. Like the second part of it where he's one when he like growls like a wild hog. He's like I can't do that without choking. That's a little scary and unnerving. But my favorite part about that is right after he's like chatters his teeth in between his like words. He's like plot wise, interesting that he built an entire sleigh system and a plan to steal Christmas when there's less than 4 hours till Christmas. Cool.
Yeah.
Big. The last minute montage was 4 hours. I didn't realize half of like the plot points in this movie is there's like 3 acts.
Yeah, you don't really. Yeah, you don't really
steal Christmas till the end.
Yeah, that's basically just like the last half hour is like him doing that part. There's a lot of backstory that's kind of new to this adaptation of how he got to be that way. And just obviously the expanded role for Cindy Lou Who.
Yeah. We were watching it during the "Where Are You" Christmas song, and Abby was like, "Yeah, we usually just fast forward through this." Man. Who would you cast yourself in if you were in this movie?
Well, obviously, I'm just like hating on this movie so much, so I'd have to be the Grinch, right?
Fair enough. I don't know who I would be. I think it'd be really fun being the Grinch. Just because I can be wacko and wild, but like Jim Carrey already did that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but I also wouldn't be Benedict Cumberbatch. So I don't know.
I'd probably just play Ron Howard's brother.
That could be good.
Yeah. I liked after that whole scene where they're going to honor the Grinch and everything, and it goes sideways, and the Grinch takes the hair trimmer and like shaves the mayor bald, and he says to like his side, he's like, "Aren't you going to do something?" And so he takes it and shaves his head too.
Yeah. That's wild.
That's good. That was wild. I will say, I guess just to kind of start wrapping it up, I did kind of like, I did like Cindy Lou Who's character. I thought she did a good job as like a kid actress, but
she was the only good Who.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And I kind of liked like, even though he does everything to like try and push her away, like she still sees like, she's like, oh, I don't know, even though he smells and blah blah blah, like he's he's all these things, like I still think he's kind of sweet. And I just feel like
actually kind of sweet.
I just feel like thank goodness for like that quality in women to like see that in men, like despite all our flaws, and still see like, oh, I think he's kind of sweet. I don't know. I can appreciate that.
So true. So yeah, we all need to.
Our hearts need to grow 3 sizes.
What other quotes? I feel like we got to nail a lot of the quotes. Otherwise, people won't be happy. But really, I don't feel like people will be listening at this point.
I've already been canceled at this point.
Yeah. What is that stench? It's fantastic. He's so dramatic. I love that. I was a very dramatic kid growing up, so I very much can relate to this portrayal of the Grinch, for sure.
Kids today, so desensitized by movies and television.
So desensitized. Movies and television. One man's toxic sludge is another man's potpourri. I don't know. It's some kind of soup.
I did crack up. I guess it's at the start. I mean, it's kind of a risque joke, but it was just like, "Hey, honey, our baby's here. He looks just like your boss."
Crazy. But it's just funny because it's more of like the stork style of baby, where the babies come from, and that just makes it even funnier. Ay. Yes. Max, help me. I'm feeling. It's because I'm green, isn't it? Solid. But yeah, I feel like that's enough quotes. We should probably pack up, move on.
Well,
one last note I have. One of my favorite parts, visual gags, is whenever he is in his lair. My favorite scenes are when he's in his own element. In his.
I think so too.
That's your least favorite. Oh, never mind.
No, I like that. Yeah, I like a lot of that stuff.
Okay. Well, my favorite part is when he starts watching TV and he pulls his socks off and they like stretch out and he throws them away and then they just like gain life and they just crawl away like little inchworms.
Oh yeah, there was a scene where he smiles and it zooms into his mouth and there's like maggots, like CGI maggots. It's like
it's so gross.
Yeah.
Ooh, one last memory. This is the last thing I have to say before we wrap up. This has to do with all the Grinch movies. The Whoville song where they're like holding hands and like going opposite in the circle. Where they're like, welcome Christmas.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, when there was a time when I was still learning English as a little kid, and I was watching this and I was hearing Fabu Foray, Hare 4 hours this Christmas. And I genuinely felt like I missed something in this language that I was like supposed to learn because I did not recognize the phrases that they were saying. And I just went with it thinking it was normal. But I'm just creeped out by that whole song. And I guess it's like Latin or something, or if it's not real at all, I don't know. But fa hu forze or something. And then I guess it means welcome Christmas come this way. That's just my speculation. I haven't researched it for myself. But I remember feeling like I was left out. Like, should I know these words? But there we go. Hate that song. Hate. Just because it's scary, creepy. But I don't loathe it entirely.
Okay.
But yeah. All right, it's about time we wrap up.
I think so.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
We gotta give our letterbox scores. And I want you to go first this time.
I feel like I need to up it to average ours out because I originally gave it a 4. I'm sticking with a 4.
4, okay.
Yeah. 4 out of 5. Don't you dare give it a 2. Don't you dare give it a 2.
There's a part of me that wants to give it just like right down the middle, 2.5. Because I just swing back and forth. Like, it's just like, there's some parts that I really don't like. And then there's other parts that I'm just like, this is hilarious. This is really funny. I will slightly move it to a 3.
Okay.
Because I recognize
you need to leave.
It has a lot of funny moments in it. The production design is incredible. It has a lot going for it. It does. It's got great quotes. It's an iconic performance for sure. Whether it kind of annoys me sometimes, it is a great performance by Jim Carrey. Everyone's like, yeah, whatever.
Just shut up.
But yeah, this is never gonna be like my top choice for a Christmas movie to pick and throw on. Like, so for that, I'm putting it at a 3.
Valid. I guess that's a little bit valid, but I disagree with you. But it's not my. I don't think it's in my top 5 movies.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up.
All right.
We got some more Christmas episodes coming up. We're gonna try and have a few more this December. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
If you want to follow us on Instagram, you can do that at Inside Quotes Cast. Give us a follow over there. Check out Jeremy's amazing artwork he's making for the show art and for the YouTube thumbnails.
Yeah.
We got full show video over on YouTube.
So check out our YouTube channel if you love that.
Subscribe, comment,
if you're a
like it,
guy.
and join us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Inside Quotes. We've been doing some bonus episodes. We've been doing the back burners, where we've kind of been talking about like a new movie we saw, but also just some of the stuff we've been watching on our own. You know, it's just kind of a catch up with me and Jeremy each week, maybe every other week. I don't know how often
we dip into the world of actual film versus children's cinema.
Yes.
So yeah, if you're interested in that, check it out. $3 a month. It is such a cool thing because it's cheaper than a glass of sweaty eggnog. So
I agree.
So yeah, join us on Patreon. All right.
Oh, let's also give a shout out to one of our listeners that gave us a 5-star review recently.
Oh yeah.
If you've been listening for a long time and you haven't, I wanna ask you to consider leaving us a 5-star review. 5-star review says, "Great guys. Every time I listen to your podcast, my brain thinks we're just hanging out. These guys are great dudes."
Aw.
So,
thanks.
That feels nice. Nice that someone's listening.
That's one of our best reviews. If you think you can top that, go for it.
Yeah.
But wow, that's cool. Well, it's been a great hanging out with you, Jonathan.
Yep. Guess I'll be seeing you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
What else do we have to do? We have to plug. Show art was done by Bryce Bridgman.
Yeah.
Go follow him on Instagram at GroovyBridge. Music was done by Alex Bird. We're your hosts, Jeremy and Jonathan. Have a lovely day and a Merry Christmas season.
Yes.
Merry Christmas. December. Yeah, fuck the animals. Bye.